We are live. This is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories, and I'm here today with the real, the one, and the only John F. Kennedy Jr. Hey, John, how are you?
Doing awesome. How are you,
Awesome.
Stu?
Awesome. I'm doing good. Doing
Good.
good.
I'm
So,
putting buttons on my hat right now.
all right. So, as always, we're going to talk about the book Stolen Identity that you can get on Amazon.com. Fabulous book. If you haven't heard of it yet, it tells the basic story of what happened to John after his dad died. Not every detail, but a lot. It's a content rich book. Like you read one page, there's all of this stuff on just one page. Well worth reading. And then John has a documentary about him, which is a 1 hour documentary, easy to watch, sad story, because it's true, called The Quiet Journey.tv. All right. So if you haven't watched that yet, please watch it and share that around. It gives everything in 1 hour, like a summary version of what happened to John in his life. Fabulously done. So
Well, thank you, Stu.
click, we're
I
good.
I have some amazing lions out there. Amazing lions. And I'm going to share these because I'm putting them on King Smarty's hat, the Daddy Factor hat right now.
Daddy factor. Yeah.
And see, I'm buttoning up, getting them buttoned up. Um, Amy, wonderful, great lion. I met her and her and her husband came, took me out, me and Robin out to lunch. But she made these buttons and they got the fake John and Donald Trump that says, "I told you so," with a big no. So I thought that was so cool. And then she came out with this one that has my daddy on it and it says, "I
I
told you
like that one
so."
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to go out with the new saying, "I told you so."
Yeah.
And then Shannon Sheridan, she's wonderful. She sent us some buttons. She's got more buttons coming. She handed out 2 buttons in Dallas. She been handing out bumpers. She's been going every Saturday. She said
Yeah.
it's getting better. People are
Yeah.
getting more supportive, and I think
Yeah.
she's
Well,
learning on how to tell the haters just go fuck themselves, which is good.
well, she's been texting me, and of course it's hot. She's standing all day out in the heat, but
Yeah,
people
bless her
are
heart.
most people are like, I'm going to say curious about the story from what I'm implying. There's a few haters. Of course, there's going to be haters, but
Oh
they're
yeah, because they
they're
can't
they're
handle the
brainwashed.
truth. Yeah.
So we have a viewer asking how they can get some of these buttons. That's
Um.
awesome.
Yeah. Um. I'm just getting them in the mail now, and Shannon Sheridan sending me some other ones. She came up with some really good designs. Um, I guess write me or email me and say, hey, I would like a button. I haven't figured out the shipping or they're all donations, which is wonderful, but
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't thought about the
Yeah.
postage or even how to mail them yet because if you put them in an envelope, it'll probably rip through their machines.
Yeah.
Um,
You'll probably
but
need
yeah,
a small padded envelope. So, okay, so let's make it this way. If anyone wants a button or buttons, write John. His address will be in the description. We're going to use the name David Quigley on the envelope. And if you want to make a small donation to cover postage, that would be appreciated. Check should be made out to David Quigley, okay, so that the bank will accept it. How's that
and
sound?
and we'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah.
get it.
And if you get some of those small padded envelopes, that would be helpful. But people, they want the collector's item, but also it's a conversation starter, right?
Yeah, I got them a couple days ago, and I was handing them out like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and one of the gals, I said, "Would you like one of my buttons?" And she said, "Hell yeah, John!" She grabbed it and she put it on her little work
Yeah. Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is the shipping for international is a lot. Okay, like to ship to Australia or wherever is like to ship a pendant is like $40. It's crazy. Okay, so we have just raised the international shipping rates, and I know no one likes to hear that, but John's kind of eating the shipping, and that kind of takes away from the whole reason we're trying to support John and his um, living, expenses. So we've raised the shipping cost to $25 rather than 10 for dependents and things.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to give
Yeah,
away a book when somebody, I've been trying. I ran out of
yeah,
books last week. Mary Maxwell gave me some more historian's tale.
yeah,
When somebody purchases a pen, and I know they're trying to help the
yeah,
cause, and so I try to autograph them a book and send a book
yeah,
to
yeah,
them, and that helped. That weighs more. But yeah, I sent a pen and a book to Australia um, yesterday, day before, and it was $42
yeah,
just for the padded envelope with a book and a pendant in it. So
yeah. It's a lot. So, and hopefully that will change over time. But I just wanted to explain that to people, like the whole, obviously we want the collector's item, the pendant or the book or whatever it might be, but we want to support John as well for his living expenses. So if he's got to spend all the profit on shipping, it doesn't even make sense, and it takes time to do, right?
yeah, it takes me about a half an hour to put it all together. But when you do buy a pendant, you'll get bumper stickers, and I'm sure you'll get
But
one of the buttons also,
yeah, it
and
would
a
be,
thank you card. I do try to put a thank you card in there,
yeah,
just because. Yeah, I know it's.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
thankful.
most people at this point, they're a little bit stretched financially. Like there are some that have more than others, and they're very generous. And
No,
I thank you.
extremely generous.
I mean, John has
There's
received amazing help. So thank you, whoever's
yeah.
whatever way
Um,
you've done.
we are coming along so great. Somebody donated me a air conditioner the other day, and along with that, the fence. I think we've got $2,500 in the fence so far with the stain and the posts and
Yep.
cement and everything. That's not counting the labor, but um, beautiful donations coming in. Now my dog, I just finished the back end. Bubba can run out in the garden, and it's cool. He don't have to crap by the front door anymore, so that's cool. And me and my son lived here. My son passed away from supposed heat stroke. I think it was MK Ultra and that, but we were just with the swamp cooler for all those years, and the air conditioner is right here blowing on me, and I actually got a chill. Um, the wonderful lady that donated it said, "You and Robin are gonna have to get some blankets because I want you guys cold,"
That
and that's how it is too.
that's awesome.
It's wonderful. It
Well,
is
look at this now. You've got a sink, a kitchen sink,
right.
a hot water heater, and an air conditioner. Boom! Mind
Well, we
blowing.
got a lot more than that, Sue. When my son passed away, we threw away everything, from the stove to the refrigerator to to everything. We stripped out all the flooring and we started over. Now we never had a washer and dryer. Now we have a washer and dryer and I mean, yeah, we didn't. Robin didn't have a kitchen sink for, I think it was 6 months at
Yeah,
least. We were doing dishes in the bathtub, and we remodeled the bathroom too. So we put the surround on the bathtub. But
yeah,
yeah, it was totally a gutted trailer house, and it's coming along. I'm so
awesome.
I'm kind of bummed that it's taken so long, but it's just a lot of work. But
Yeah,
wonderful people. This beautiful lady and King sent me some money. He said, "Go buy you some countertops, John." And then Dee sent me a Home Depot gift card and said, "Go buy your Robin a kitchen sink." So
yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't have done it without all the wonderful support and generosity, which is I didn't know there was this much love in the world, but it's great.
yeah,
It really
yeah,
is.
yeah,
And maybe one of these days I'll be able to redo the solid. billions of dollars were stolen from me and my family and loved ones. And who knows? I don't know, but I got a generous heart too. I just don't have the resources to be that generous. So
Yeah.
maybe someday.
You are generous because you're including books with many of your pendant orders. Like not all of them, but like that cost you money, a lot of money, and of course the shipping, but that shows your mission is to get this story out there. You're so excited about getting the story out there. It's not about like hoarding money, it's about
Yeah.
getting it out
And
there.
I have so many wonderful lions. I call the people that share my story lions. So people know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Yep.
Robin, find me the fifth bullet so I could share it, please.
So last time we talked, you had shown us the catalog of, products, we'll call it, items that were auctioned off, the Kennedy items, the estate. And
Yeah.
you were kind of waving that catalog and flipping it through.
I
It
have
had
it right here.
photos and
It's
that
huge. This is this is just a fraction. I mean, they went out of their way to make a catalog of all the stuff they had stolen from my family and loved ones,
yeah,
and it's huge.
yeah,
Um, but I'm exposing what they can get away with. They can get
yeah,
away with murder, obviously, because nothing's been done. They murdered my father for the whole world to see, my uncle, and they kept the other murders quiet and hid out. But our government, our Secret Service, and these three-letter agencies are a murder crime ring. They can kill somebody, cover it up, get away with it, and steal. They can put these funds in they can transfer funds into famous people that have millions already, and nobody can do anything about it. But it's done. And our FBI, they know the money trail, where it goes and how it
yeah,
goes, and but
yeah.
it's all the same crime ring. So they don't want my story out because I'm exposing them. But these lions are great. Jody Parmley, um, she wrote a screenplay. It's
Oh,
based on Stolen Identity, my first book, and The Historian's Tale. But it's a screenplay. It's called The Fifth Bullet, written by Jody Parmley, and much success to this. Let's manifest this to go big. Jody Parmley has a heart of gold. So many lions do so much to help share the story,
yeah.
but I want that to manifest. I really, really do. I haven't read it yet. Robin's read a few pages in it, and she said it's freaking awesome. And I knew it would be already. I
Awesome.
don't even have to read it. I know it's going to be freaking awesome because Jody wrote. It was like a one-page thing about my mom, and Robin came out. I was working on the trailer, and Robin comes out and said, "I want you to redo this that Jody wrote for." I'm not sure what it was for. Maybe her page or something. But I started crying, and I said, "That's just so freaking beautiful." It was so beautifully written. I
Yeah,
had tears in my eyes.
yeah.
I was like, "Go away, Robin."
Well, that is amazing. And I have some ideas. So Jody, contact me, okay? I have an idea for you. So yay.
Awesome.
Yay. Yeah. See, people want to help. Okay. Most of us, we'll call it, we're regular people. Okay. We don't have a lot of resources, but we want to help. So, sharing, telling people the story, sharing the book, all of that is ways that the average person can help. But like people like Shannon, for example, going to Dallas every weekend,
Bless her.
creating these
Bless her.
beautiful storyboards and talk and flyers and talking to people. Like that is above and beyond exceptional help. Jody writing this screenplay, above and beyond, but fabulous, People want to help.
Some of my friends, they're old school like me, so
Yeah,
Facebook is out. But like Randy on Facebook,
yeah,
um, this gentleman, he's 80 some odd years old. He was on Facebook, and he sends me a text message and said, "This Lanny Lewis, like, she's a messenger from God.
yeah.
She is so helping you out." And I was like, "I know." But there's so many lions out there.
Yeah,
There's new lions that popping up on Facebook sharing the story
yeah,
that are new to me. And I just want to thank all you people that share my videos, share my story to help get me justice. You all are appreciated, but you're the Paul Revere's. I hope you all go down in history as the Paul
Yeah,
Revere's of
yeah,
25 and exposing these murderers, criminals, what they do for identity theft and to steal money and power.
right, right. I
And
am on Facebook.
maybe we can help the children. You got to throw the children because
Yeah,
there's so much done by these people. I'm a victim
yeah, yeah,
of what these people do to children, and
yeah,
they get away with it. They get away with it. They've been getting away with it, and it's time they didn't anymore.
yeah. They have been getting away with it since before we were even born. Okay. They've been developing their networks and their systems and how it's going to work and devious plans, right? And so we're just learning of them. The past 10, 20 years, we've just really learned about all of that. And now it's time to stop it. So bringing it out to the open is the first step. People don't even understand how prevalent this is. You know, they don't. They're going about their lives. They're harried. They're working. They're struggling to survive. They don't understand what's happening. So we're
They
letting them
have
know.
no idea. Well, people always say, hey, I know our government's corrupt. Well, no, they don't get how corrupt.
Right.
They really, really don't.
Yeah.
How it controls, and the vote does not matter. It's never mattered. Organized crime places, these people in place before you go vote, so your vote
Right.
doesn't matter because they already won. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
but people need to wake up and say, hey, we really need to fix our government and what you know
Yeah.
when people in our government think they can kill and steal and treat people like slaves and get away with it, it's time to change that government big
Right.
time.
Right. Yes. And so what I've seen on Facebook is you've got some excellent people. They're great with creating graphics, videos, writing the story, and they've been putting it out. I've been trying to share it to my channel when I see it. Some are not shareable for some reason. Facebook, of course, is trying to censor, just like everybody else.
Well, I started getting 1,000 followers a day for
It's
3 or 4 days,
amazing.
and then all of a sudden it
Amazing.
just dropped right off.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'll get 1,000 followers every 3 or 4 days, but
Still good. Still
yeah,
good.
they had the volume turned up on me, and it started getting out, and then they turned the volume back down. And when I mean the volume, I mean the shareable, where the
Yes.
story will get out.
Yes.
It's kind of like a volume control. They can turn it up or turn it down if they
Yes.
want to, and I
Yeah.
hope they turn it back up to let it let the people be sharing the.
It should be uncensored. Like things should be uncensored, okay? And obviously they're working so hard to censor what's happening with all the all the truth and disclosure, right? They're working so hard to delete the videos, delete the channels, make it not shareable, make it so the sound doesn't have, you know what I mean? Distort the video. You name it, they're doing it on every platform,
And
right?
then TikTok, they just flat out take you down.
Yeah.
And YouTube, YouTube, that's my main platform where I do my lives from, and it's so turned down. We should have for as long as we've been doing it. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm John Kennedy Jr. I was kidnapped. I was replaced. I know why my father was killed, and I'm letting people know that it didn't stop. The killing didn't stop. They used identity. We should have millions. We should have millions of views, but it all goes back to the controlled cabal on how they control the media,
Right,
and it's a great example of that. Hey, look at my story, but we only have
right, right. So, we've talked about, your father being assassinated, and there's a variety of different reasons for that, which I think are all valid and probably part of the big picture. But as a child, when you traveled around with your mom for a few years and, did all sorts of things, was there conversation about what happened?
There was a few that I remember that I've kept to myself.
Okay,
Um, but our Secret Service controls everything and everybody at the top. They do.
okay, yeah,
Call them the mafia, call them the syndicate, call it the Secret Service or the CIA. whatever you want to call the organized crime at the top, they run things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you see Donald Trump and everybody's praising Donald Trump for being president. And with that said, people, war is not fun. War is fucked up. We do not want war whatsoever. If you have never seen what war is all about, go watch some World War II videos of all the dead bodies laying around and the flies all over them and all the bombs falling. It's not good. And it's not jokeable. It's not. People make jokes about what's going on. And I don't watch the news, so I really don't know what's going on. All I'm saying is war is not good. We don't want war. We want peace.
We do want peace. But we are being fed propaganda, it seems, by the news. Of course, the news, social media. Okay, I went on to this AI thing, Chat GPT. Everyone's talking about AI. So I put something in there. I wrote a paragraph about you. Oh my golly. Was that censored, slanted? They don't like it when we put the truth out there. So I asked it to refine the paragraph. It came up with a whole bunch of BS and it kept saying allegedly, conspiracy. So that was really fun to see that. So those that are using AI to write stuff, watch what the content is because it could be corrupted, right?
Yeah. And I
There's
got a
an
new
agenda
saying.
there.
I changed
What?
my saying. I used to say, and I was taught in the military as a very, very young man,
Yeah.
don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see.
Yeah.
I changed that. Don't believe anything you hear or don't believe anything you see. Nothing. Because there's some crazy shit going on that looks real on the internet right now. You watch a
Yeah.
video and you're like, did that really happen? And it's all a cartoon. It's
It's
all
the
cartoons turned to real to make you think it's real. So yeah, my saying believe half of what you
yeah.
see is I changed it because
Well,
you can't unless you analyze and go down right. You can't believe what you see anymore with all this
yeah.
AI and all this.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and that's all
I
Hollywood. That's all Hollywood.
I clicked on a YouTube video, like I had, I was eating or something, I had time to spare, and it was an AI created video. Now, I didn't realize it at first, but it is so, like, first of all, it's a little bit robotic how it's written. Like, it's not written like a human wrote it. The graphics are usually, you can tell once you start to look, but again, propaganda. They're telling, like, especially when it's about a celebrity or whatever, they are telling you what they want you to think about how awesome this person was and how this and that. But they're doing it for likes and views. And like the more these channels get monetized and the more you click and blah, 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 the more money you make. I do not monetize my channel, so I don't make money from doing this at all. Okay, just want to clarify that. But I don't know how much money people make, but I think it's a lot because they're putting out stuff that they just want you to click. And, then you're tricked into watching something, trying to figure out what they're talking about, and they never tell you half the time. It's crazy, you know?
Yeah, I see a lot of these on Facebook Reels and stuff
Yeah,
about these
yeah,
policemen coming up to the people just standing there filming and taking our freedoms away from us. We've turned into a police state where all the police want to do is identify us, and it gets big. It all
yeah,
goes, your names. They're rounding up your names
yeah,
for a database. And while I'm thinking of it, I was in the show One Adam 12. It's all propaganda to build up the police. You had Dragnet in Hollywood, that went on to One Adam 12 and Emergency and all these other shows. But it was building up the police for the police state we're in now, where, show me your ID. You know, the United States is for we the people. We don't even need police. We really don't. I have never, ever in my whole life called the police for police help, ever. I have not wanted to, never needed to. And some people feel they need to. I mean, I have called 911, I think the last time I called 911 was this woman was beating on my door and saying she was having a heart attack and she passed out in my arms. So I got on the phone. I called 911. I said, "Hey, I need some medical attention here right away." But as far as calling the police, n- no. I mean, there was a guy shot right down the street dead, a few houses up from where I'm living. There was a guy, I was sitting out on the porch and watched him stick a gun out and shoot at people walking down the street right here.
What?
Um, yeah, there's been some crazy stuff happen. And for some reason, the police won't talk to me. Not that I want to talk to them. But there was a neighbors fighting over here one day, and I guess some rocks were thrown. But the police came to question me about it. It's like, don't get me fucking involved. If they want to throw rocks at each other, then why are you coming over here asking me?
All
But they
right.
had a real fucking shitty attitude. Um, but yeah,
So this woman that collapsed in your arms, did you know who it was? Like, why was she at your door? What's the story there?
well, we were up at our campground, and she was in the camper across from us. But she was just when I saw her knocking at the door, I went out, and she was just telling me she was having a hard time breathing. She thought she was having a heart attack, and I walked outside, and when I got outside, she like passed out on our little chair. So I, held her in my arms so she wouldn't fall on the ground or anything, and I called 911
Yeah.
and got the paramedics there for her, and then they took her to the hospital. But
Wow.
it's just one of those things.
So you didn't actually know her, or there was no like
Well,
you
I knew her because she was my campground neighbor, but
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So, through your book, Stolen Identity, you've talked repeatedly about you've gone to the FBI more than once.
oh yeah.
Say this or that happened, this murder happened, this happened.
I told the FBI once, I said, let's get the lawn chairs. Come with me. I'll set you in a lawn chair. I will do all the digging and I'll show you where the body is. Go away, they said. Go away. Because it's a freaking crime ring. If any of this gets out, then my story gets out. If I make the news for something like that, it's going to go all the way that they can't have that. So they keep suppressing my story.
Right.
There's so much that, I mean, Mary Maxwell said, I'm the Rosetta Stone. And it's true because my story reveals the JFK files. My story reveals the takeover of the United States government by criminals,
Yeah.
organizations,
Yeah.
and how they place these presidents in place, how these people are bought off, how the media is bought. I mean, my story is huge.
Yeah.
It really is. And with that said, while I was talking about the historian's tale, Mary Maxwell, if you're listening, let's get this on Amazon. Let's get this on Amazon, sell a million copies of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I took it off of Blue. So now, and there's nowhere to get it that I know of, and we could sell
Yeah.
a lot of copies if it was on Amazon.
I think Amazon's a better place because everyone pretty much shops there anymore, which I don't love. But back to the FBI. All right, so here's my question. Do you think they were pushing you away, one, because of the JFK story, the assassination, they know the real story and who was involved, or two, because they knew what happened to you as a child and throughout your life?
Well, they basically kidnapped me. They basically killed my family members. And these are all organized crime members within the FBI, CIA, secrets. They're all one big crime ring.
Yeah,
So you got the killings, but they stole billions of dollars. They stole the Kennedy fortunes. There's people in there right now that aren't even Kennedy blood that have millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars getting away with it.
okay.
So, they know all that, but it's just going to expose all that. It's going to break up their crime ring.
So we're going to say it's answer number three, both. It's a mixture of both. They know, they don't know literally every detail, but they know the gist of what happened to your dad and the gist of what happened to you. And they're either complicit and involved or they were told by someone to not investigate,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Well,
so
it's all blood in, blood out. So, you know, people within our government put me in this so-called witness protection, made me
yeah,
disappear,
yeah,
but they also stole my identity and placed one of their family members in my place to steal the millions and billions of dollars.
yeah.
But it wasn't just me they replaced with George Onassis when they kidnapped me and replaced me. They did it with my mom, my sister, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins.
Right.
Yeah. And people are still stealing lots of money over identity. Identity theft is huge. It's crazy huge. It goes all the way to the president of the United States. It goes all the way to the people around the president. You
Right.
know, the man that stole my identity that the whole world thought was JFK, Donald Trump said, "Oh, he's a wonderful guy. My best friend. Yeah, he's my best buddy. He would have, if he was still alive, he would have made a good president." Really? A member of organized crime that stole somebody's identity, that stole millions and millions of dollars along with Donald Trump. You seen the big fat book? That was at Trump Tower, people. At Trump Tower, people.
So like if you looked at one of those pictures, does it give a price like a starting, it's an auction, right? Like, does it give a starting price for that item or a
Oh, I've
suggested?
never looked. What did I do with that? Look. Let's
Like
look.
I've
It
never
really does. It upsets me really bad just to see this crap.
pick something at random and just see if there's a price.
Here's the first page I picked.
Okay.
And I almost remember that butterfly, maybe. Anyway, there's a butterfly brooch at the top. See the butterfly brooch?
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Ooh, that's really pretty.
And there's
Yeah.
a brooch at the bottom right there. So
Okay.
that's just one page. And that says, and you got to remember, this was way back, what, 30 years ago or something? 15 to 20,000 for the butterfly and 6 to 8,000 for the little bitty brooch there.
So those are like probably suggested
Yeah,
starting points, right?
yeah. And at auction, they could have went from, I think that auction made, I believe it was 34 or 36 million dollars just for that one auction. That doesn't count the Kennedy houses, the mansions, the stocks, the bonds, what they had in investments, in patents, and in the Kennedy names, the kind of money they were making. It's billions.
Yeah.
Somebody looked up how much my father was worth back then, and it was billions. It was today in today's market, it was billions. And then my mother, with the help of our Secret Service, married Aristotle Onassis. He was a Greek billionaire. So not only did they get the Kennedy billions, they got the Onassis billions as well. And that's the United States government. That's the people within the United States government. They're stealing billions of dollars, and we're waving flags for them. Say, go, 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 make America great again.
Right, right. I've got to assume, like, in your book, you've talked about how your mother was abused and beaten and other things, and how horrible that must have been for her. So she was also being controlled, watched, and in a bad situation. So I've always wondered, like, did she purposely place you in what she thought was honest protection, or was she forced to put you there, right? And did she decide to marry Aristotle just for fun, or was she forced to marry him?
Yeah, I think it was just all part of their plans
Yeah,
for
yeah,
her to get, because once she was in there, then the Secret Service that were protecting her were in there.
yeah.
But it was kind of like, oh, yeah, well, I do remember my mom talking with Wayne about me being with the Hells Angels. And my mom really wanted the Hells Angels to go world. She wanted the Hells Angels all around the world. She spent a lot of money to build the Hells Angels up to what they are to this very day. So she wanted the good for me, even though it was the bad for me, but to protect me. But they were driving her crazy. She knew they had total control of her. And maybe that's why they killed her in 75. They already had her replacement in 75, so they killed my mom and
Would
let the body double take over to run the finances of it all.
would you say that the Hells Angels, they kind of operate by their own code, right? Are they mostly incorruptible? Meaning once they're in, they don't deviate from their internal code or they're taken out.
You like to think, you know, that none of them can be bought out, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's been some sell me out.
Okay. I guess, we could say people are people. And of course, you've got people that are good or bad people. And then you've got people that are threatened in some fashion.
There's good and bad in all
Everything.
groups, you know. There's people that won't take the money. We used to test people all the time. You have to. The big prize is the United States government. You people have no idea what it is to try to keep the power of the United States and what has to be done, so the enemies don't take over.
Yeah.
It's huge. People can't fathom what has to be done. The killings, the murders, the cover-ups. It's freaking huge. It really is. And I'm hoping to wake people up on what has to be done. And just like my
Right.
father said, hey, these secret societies, these secrets aren't welcome in an open and free society. We got
Right.
to let people know what's really going on. And my father was really concerned about that. And yeah, it's big. It's
Right.
big. It's bigger than I can even tell people how big it is.
So what would you, about how many times would you say that you went to the FBI, let's say physically? How many times have you walked into an FBI office during your lifetime and you were turned away?
Um, I would just say five total. I probably
Five.
Yeah, and I probably called them maybe six. But one of those times, Wayne was he was big with the Hells Angels, and then you had the FBI. But I think Wayne purposely wanted me to go to the FBI to see who the rats were in the FBI. So it's not like I was a rat going to the FBI. It's like it's like Wayne had me stand out in front of the Ventura Clubhouse. And then the cops would pull up and yell and scream and threaten me for standing out in front of the Ventura Clubhouse. Well, that was the plan, to see who the bad guys were so we could take care of the problems. So when Wayne had me go to the FBI and say, hey, this guy just told me he blew somebody's brains out with one of my weapons, it was to see what they would do. And I believe Wayne was on the other side of the double pane glass too, that they put me in front of at the FBI. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it was just to test me to see if I could get sold out, or you know who knows what all these reasons were
Yeah.
for. But yeah, I believe I probably five six times, something like that.
Okay.
I was in Fresno and I went to the FBI. They didn't help me. So then I drove. I didn't have gas money or whatever, but I drove all the way to Sacramento, and I was driving around in a circle because everybody was following me when I got to Sacramento. I was being followed by FBI and everybody else, and I went right to the FBI office. I said, I just went to the Fresno FBI. I don't trust those fuckers. He's all, oh, well, I know the guy there. He's good. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But when you're being followed, it's for two different reasons. Like they can pre-program you under MK Ultra, say go to Sacramento, you're going to go here, and then you're just going to drive around the block three times. Well, while you're driving around the block three times, you got the bad guys following you, but then you got the good guys following the bad guys. So when I was in Sacramento, I was followed like crazy. But then when I got back to Fresno, California, they said, yeah, you really uncovered a lot of our guys that time. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
Because you got protection. So the people that are protecting you, let's say you go around the block three times, pretty soon you got six cars following you around the block three times. You pinpoint who the bad guys are, but then who's the bad guys, who's the good guys. So you're
Yeah.
exposing them all at the same time.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you learn those
Wow.
little tricks. Oh,
Yeah.
and there was one time I had an old pickup truck, and all of a sudden I had a bunch of putty. It looked like plastic explosives were put under my car. So I drove right to the FBI office. I said, hey, man, come out here and check this out. And the guy did. And he looked at it. I said, hey, man, I'm not real familiar with plastic explosives, but is that some C4 shit right there that's going to blow my car up? And he was like, No, it was like, well, that was fucking new. I think somebody just put that under there to fuck with me.
How would you have known that there was putty under your car? Like, who looks under their car?
I pay
Like,
attention to detail, especially when you're John Kennedy Jr. and you go start your car and you're standing outside of it just because you're afraid it's going to blow up. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I was in the Hells Angels clubhouse when they were throwing hand grenades trying to kill me, and that was federal government agents trying to kill me. And actually, a couple brothers got hurt that time. Um, One went right under one of those big metal chairs, school chairs, and put shrapnel in this brother. His name was David, but you put shrapnel in his ass, and he was bent over outside in the sunshine, and they had tweezers, and they were just
oh,
pulling that metal out from his butt. But yeah, there was attempts on my life, and yeah,
okay.
some people got
How do
hurt.
you know the grenade was for you and not one of those guys? Just asking the question.
I was there, but yeah, it could have been for one of them, but I think it was to eliminate John Kennedy. They were
Okay.
protecting me. They were getting paid to protect me. The hand grenade got traced to our federal government. Yeah,
About how old were you then when that grenade or those grenades
I
went
think
off?
I was in my 20s.
Wow. So you were just all talking and hanging out, and then all of a sudden the door opens, boom, boom, and boom. Everyone was diving, I assume.
Yeah, I used to work on motorbikes a lot and do that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was there. I was brought there. The hand grenade went rolling across the floor. But what it's I can't say it was for me, but
Well,
I always thought it was for
I'm
me.
not saying it wasn't. I'm just asking, like, if there were, like, we don't know who else was in the room. Were there any, like, super bad guys, guys with enemies, or it was most likely for you, but
It's hard to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, you cannot make this up. All right. If I sat down to try to make it up, I'd get like maybe one story out of your whole life. You can't make this up.
No, I can't. And I wouldn't want to. It's
Yeah,
all
you wouldn't want to.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have physically walked into the FBI 5 or 6 times
Oh
and
yeah.
never received help. But
Well,
I will
it's
say
been
that the guy that looked under your car was pretty brave, to do so.
yeah. He had one of those I Spy watches too that would record everything. I'm sure because he kept
Ah,
looking at his watch.
ah.
But
You know, like we see in the movie, like you go up to the White House, they have like one of those little mirrors on a stick that they run under the car. I don't know if they really do that or not, but he
yeah.
probably used something like that rather than crawl down underneath the car, right? So,
I was gonna say something I forgot. Oh, when Stolen Identity came out, when 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 my book Stolen Identity came out, I think it was 6 months before this book came out. I called the FBI and I was on hold for like freaking an hour and a half, I think. But I said, hey, I'm the real John Kennedy Jr. He's like, well, what are you calling me for? And it's like, because I'm the real John Kennedy Jr. and I'm coming out with my story, whether you fucking come here and talk with me or not. I'm doing it just to let you know. I'm gonna go world with it. So whoever I called from the FBI that hung up on me, fuck you. I'm going world, and yeah,
oh my golly, he hung up on you.
yeah. He just hung up on me. I said, I'm John Kennedy Jr. I'm coming out with my fucking story, whether you want to come talk to me or not.
Wow. You'd like to think they would take things a little more serious and say, well, why are you calling me? You'd explain to it, and then they say, okay, or whatever. Like, what if it was a real emergency? Like you've
Yeah. Oh,
talked.
I think he told me to go to the local police office and
Ah,
yeah, I'm the son of a fucking president. I was put in witness protection, and I was gone through all this stuff, and you want me to call the Bullhead City Police Department and go down there and say, hey, I'm John Kennedy Jr. What the fuck? It's a federal matter. it's national security. It's the whole Rosetta Stone thing
Yeah.
about our government.
Yeah.
But with that said, I was thinking the other day I should run for mayor of Bullhead. John Kennedy Jr., mayor. I get stopped everywhere I go now. Soon my story's getting out.
They
I was
always
having
do.
I was having a heart attack the other day. I swear I was. Me, Robin, and sister were in the car, and they had these vitamin B12 shots. Like the liquid, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to give you energy. So sister gave it to Robin. Robin put some under my tongue while we're driving down. We got to the grocery store, and I walked in there, and my heart failure kicked in. And I was like, "Sister, I'm having a heart attack." I said, "I need to go back to the car and sit down for a minute." I said, "It's that damn B12 stuff." And she's like, "Okay," but this guy comes right up to me, and he said, "I know you. You're John Kennedy Jr. Let me take my picture." And I'm like, "You can take my picture, but I'm having a heart attack."
It's not funny. It's not funny, but it is funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I tried to have a good face on me while he was taking a picture of me having a
Yeah.
heart attack. But
Yeah.
yeah, the other day I went to the grocery store. Somebody caught me outside. Said, "Hey, John Kennedy." And then as soon as I got done talking with this guy, I went to the post office box, and I came out with some packages. He's like, "Hey, John Kennedy, what do you think about the kid on the side of the road and Ronald Salvin?" And I said, "Go see the Quiet Journey. Here's a bumper sticker." But I'm
Oh,
getting well known in this town for being the real John Kennedy Jr. And all these people like, I believe you, and it's like you
that
should
is
believe me.
awesome. That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
getting chills. So that's confirmation. People are starting to take notice. Of course, you've got your trailer and I don't know if you've got bumper stickers on your truck. I assume you do, and things like that. So they know your vehicle and you've been telling your story. Uh, I think people are starting to get it now. So that's so exciting.
And with that said, I have had many letters lately of people wanting me to call them, talk with them, and listen, people. I have just been so busy
Yeah.
to get back with you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not blowing you off. I have just been busy. I need secretaries. I need a office. I need a healing center. I'm manifesting for a healing center where we can have an
Yep.
office. So when somebody says, "Hey, John, will you please call me about this matter?" I can hand it to my secretary and say, "Take care of this for me. Please, I got to go build my fence or clean up dog poo off the porch or something." But
Or you could hire someone to do that stuff too and do talks, lectures, video,
yeah,
visits.
well,
And
hopefully that's all in the future.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Because
I've been getting a lot of love gifts lately, but it's not like we can go world yet, and I can
yeah,
just sit back and say, go do this, go do
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's
But
so
it's
cool.
coming. I hope it's an office, even a church with all these letters. I can put them all over the walls of all these people that send their love and their little, me and Robin were saying we're going to have a bunch of these pretty soon. We're going to have to make a little glass display of just
That's
the
cool.
buttons that
Yeah,
we're going to have. So I was just saying, I hope you people that write me a letter that send me $10 or $20 bill and say, "Hey, John, I'll support you. Please call me or whatever." And I haven't called you. It's not because I don't want to. It's just because I'm
yeah,
sick.
yeah. Well, yeah, you get busy doing whatever you get doing, and like putting these videos out takes time. You're on, your channel all the time, telling the story, talking to people, doing that. And to mail out a book, like you handwrite everything, and it takes time. And it's not that you
Well,
don't
actually,
care about
Sue,
the people. It takes
I
time.
haven't I haven't made a video all week. I really haven't.
What?
Yeah, sister flew in to visit and help us do some painting and stuff around here. And then this wonderful gal I met from Canada came down, flew down, and Mary Maxwell flew down. Well, flew from back east to see me.
Yep.
So I had been, you know, and
Yeah.
with them, and then trying to get this fence up and just do. I get so busy. I get just so
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's all good. So I
And
think,
I just want to make sure everybody gets a thank you from John for all their love and all their help
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. But
I
please don't
think,
think I'm just blowing you off. If it's important, email me again, please.
I think the people that are watching now are your strong supporters. They believe your story. They're trying to help. Like I'm seeing the names. I'm actually able to see the chat today. Half the time, I can't even get on my own channel, believe it or not. And I cannot, like when I go onto Facebook and I see one of John's videos, I try to comment. It won't, I can maybe type the comment, but it won't let me press the and send it. So there's a lot of BS going. The censorship is real. All right. They wouldn't be trying to censor us so hard unless it was an important story. Think of this, the JFK story. We still don't have the true files. All right. All right. How many days has this been? It's been like 6 months. We don't have the true files. They're still messing around with the files. What don't they want us to see? Right. And then that leads to your story. I mean, it's so, the government is corrupt. We're seeing it out there. The story has got to come out. And with all of our help, everyone in the group spreading this story out, it's going to come out. People are going to see it. They're going to be shocked. It's going to go worldwide. It's a global story. A global.
Yes. Everybody, please see The Quiet Journey
Yep.
and hit me up if you want some bumper stickers. I know I have about 10 letters in the mailbox over here to mail bumper stickers out.
Oh,
And when
awesome.
I get time, I will sure put them in the
Right.
envelopes and send them out.
Right.
If you haven't got yours, please hit me up again.
Okay. So we're going to say the same thing with the buttons then. If you want a button, please send a letter to John's address, which is in the description. If you want to make a donation, that's a hint, by the way, that would be very helpful. And then John will get those to you as he has them. So it sounds like we're at a good time to wrap up. And I want to thank everyone for watching and supporting John. And the website is therealjohnfkennedy.com. And you can also buy Stolen Identity at Amazon.com. And then again, watch the awesome documentary, thequietjourney.tv. Right? Thank you so
Awesome.
much for your time, John. I greatly appreciate talking with you.
Oh, I appreciate you,
I,
Sue. And the Daddy Factory.
yep,
The Daddy Factory.
the Daddy
Daddy
Factor.
Factor. King Smarty and
Yep,
smartyscorner.com. All
yeah,
love. All love. All
yeah.
love.
Smarty just wrote, he says, we're waiting for you in Destin, bro. And that is true. So the daddy factor, what daddy is the one we call source or God. All right. King Smarty calls him daddy, as do we. And so what that hat means, it's really God's plan. Like basically you're part of God's plan and you're fulfilling your mission. So thank you for all your courage, your persistence, your honesty. I mean, it's not hard, it's not easy to do what you're doing. So thank you for all of that. I
Well,
appreciate it.
well, thank you, and thank all the Lions for making
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
each and every day a blessing.
I